Start going whenever we want?
Yeah, whenever you want. I started recording, so just...
Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good, good. Well, welcome to the July edition of the Mortgage Update with Mike and Joe. It's hard to believe that we're halfway through the year.
It's nuts.
It's crazy. I mean, years, it's amazing as you get older, time just seems to fly even faster and
Right.
faster.
The only thing that means is closer to the return of the Bills hat.
That this is true.
We're getting there.
We do have training camp starting soon, right?
End of the month, yeah.
At end of the month, right? So that'll be fun when that comes to town. Looking forward to going that. But obviously, Joe, tomorrow's a big day. It's the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th
I'm
of
excited.
July.
Looking forward to spending some time down by the lake. Any traditions that the Leones have for the 4th of July?
That's an interesting question. So this actually started back in 2006.
Okay.
2006 was a World Cup year, and Italy was in, I think it was a quarterfinal or quarterfinal, playing against Germany.
Okay.
Game went into extra time. We're all in the, it's night. It was raining. Actually, it was raining out, so we're all in the living room watching this game, and Italy scores in the 118th minute to win the game.
So you guys are going
2-1.
nuts.
The whole living room erupted. We're going nuts, and then we had the bright idea to go out in the backyard and have our own soccer game.
Sure,
because
why wouldn't you?
wine and
Sure.
cheering and so forth.
Yeah.
It resulted in some injuries, but the fun thing is we've really done that year over year. We're usually about a group of I don't know, 20-ish people that
Okay.
would jump out in the
Enough.
field and
That's enough
play
for two
and
teams.
run around, and the kids get involved and usually get run over by the adults, and somebody gets hurt typically, but it's fun. It's a good time.
That's great.
So
That's great.
it's a fun tradition that we started back then, and continue to.
Well, I do think GRB has some first aid kits here. So if you need
All right,
to
I
bring
might
any
need
of
to
those
take some,
home,
maybe
you
some
might wanna bring those
sunscreen,
home
some
as well.
GRB sunscreen
Right.
probably too.
Exactly. All right, Joe, let's talk about mortgage and real estate. So obviously the month is done. Kind of, can you share with us kind of how June landed in regards to the market, and what are we seeing
Yep.
compared to what we've been seeing?
Kind of feels like deja vu.
Okay.
For Monroe County, we'll start there this time. So 17.4% over ask, almost 17.5. We had about a 10% mix of government business,
Okay.
so still low there. The highest in Monroe County, highest over ask was 40.21%. That was in Henrietta. And then the lowest was negative 0.02%, so just about flat.
Okay.
We did have some interesting trends, continuing trends, right? Fairport, actually, we had 10 homes in the Fairport 14450 zip code. The average list price was $320,000, and then the average over ask was 21%, right? So you're talking about 60-ish thousand over ask on average.
On average.
In that zip code.
I'm sure some were higher than that, right?
And some were higher and
Yeah.
some were lower, right?
Right.
To get to that average. But and then when we look at Irondequoit and Greece, the zip codes that constitute those townships, they continue to remain those areas where we're seeing the most activity. Greece, there were 20 homes, average 17.4% over ask. Irondequoit, 12 homes, average 20.9% over. So those three zip codes really, areas really stuck out when I looked at the numbers, and just that consistency that we're seeing that's driving those numbers. And then if we just do a quick zoom out to Monroe and surrounding counties, average 15.05% over, so
Okay.
Pretty close to where we are. Interestingly enough, there was one house that went 30% under, but that was out in Honeyway. So looking at that number, just surprising to see
Sure.
a house that far under, but there's a reason for everything.
Sure. What about Syracuse? What are we seeing there?
So if we go down the thruway, again, it's just such a tale of two markets, right? Onondaga County, 6.65% over on average, 15% government business. The lowest was 7.46% under ask, and the highest was almost 20% over ask, 19.7. That was in just that southern tip of Onondaga Lake. So, right there at the bottom of the lake there, we had one in that zip code. And then if we just zoom out to Onondaga and surrounding, it's pretty close, 6.63%. So, the numbers, again, that tale of two markets, right? You don't have those markets that are really sticking out in Onondaga and surrounding, like we see in Monroe and surrounding.
That's interesting. So again, for those folks that are listening, this data that Joe just went through, we will make this available to
Yep.
all of you. And it's, again, this is something that we share each month, and please feel free to ask for any other data that you'd like as well. So Joe, obviously a couple of things I thought were fairly cool from a news perspective. Rochester was named the #2 most affordable city in the world. And I asked our marketing department, in the world? And they said yes. I mean, they did a worldwide search. And when you think about some of the stats that you just went through in regards to, houses are much more expensive today. Obviously people being able to afford a home is harder today than it was 2 to 3 years ago. But all that being said, Rochester is still an affordable place to live. When you think about that and you think about some of the other benefits of living here, Rochester still, as well as Syracuse, are both great places to live. Anything you'd add to that at
Yeah,
all?
no, I mean, it looks like Buffalo did come in at number 6 on that list, so but only two cities in New York State. I think that has somewhat to do with what we're seeing, right? If you're moving here from somewhere where there's a much higher cost of living, like New York City,
Right.
and you come to Rochester and say, wow, I can buy this house, I can buy it in cash. And you know what? Okay, I'll pay a little bit more because I'm still paying less than what I would have paid where I used to live.
Right.
And that we saw some of that trend around the pandemic. I think we're still continuing to see some of that trend going on today. So it's interesting. It's not surprising to see Rochester there, but from an affordability perspective, but things are creeping up. So
Right.
we'll see how long we stay on the list.
Right.
And then just the other piece in the news, interestingly enough, Thrillist named your hometown America's greatest lake towns to visit in the summer. So Canandaigua.
Right.
What's your favorite thing to do there?
My favorite thing to do there, honestly, is I'm really fortunate. We just have this most amazing view of the lake, and just to sit out on our back porch and it's interesting. I can actually hear people talking on their boat as if I was on the boat. It's interesting to hear that. So just to hear the kids out there tubing and having a great time, it's just a riot.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like to play catch with my dog.
There you go.
As well. So Joe, we are excited. We just rolled out, obviously last week, another GRB tool. This is the GRB Cash Plus Guarantee. This is taken a long time to get rolled out. I know you've personally invested a lot of your time to get this rolled out. And again, this is just another tool to help the agents, to help their buyers get in a much better position to win when they place an offer. So Joe, just kind of share with everybody kind of what the Cash Plus Guarantee is and the benefits to it.
Yeah. So first, being able to help your offer stand out, right? That's been our focus of our Cash Plus program, our pre-approval program, and now the Cash Plus Guarantee, and putting our buyers in the best position to win. So this program allows the buyers to write an offer that is not contingent on an appraisal, it's not contingent on financing, and if for some reason something were to happen, GRB will step in and purchase the home. There's conditions that need to be met, as with any
Sure,
transaction. It does require a 20% earnest money deposit from the buyer. That money's held in our bank attorney's trust account, so it's with our attorneys. The way the program works is the buyer sits down with the loan officer, and they get approved. So we are fully underwriting these buyers up front, like we do with our Cash Plus program.
Right.
So we're ensuring that their earnest money deposit is protected from a financing perspective, right? Unless they have a life event that would prevent them from getting financing, their financing is covered, right? And, the unforeseen could happen, right? Somebody could lose a job or something like that. In that event, GRB is going to step in and purchase the home from the seller.
So
and
that
ensure
will
that
guarantee the
transaction
seller
closes.
that the transaction is going to close.
Correct.
Okay.
And, that was, when you look at our Cash Plus program is almost just as strong, right? Because those buyers are fully underwritten. So again, unless that life event happens, that deal's going to close.
Right.
This, we've just strengthened that a little bit more, right?
Right.
So it allows us to say, hey, you know what, if that life event happens, because in reality, we do thousands of transactions a year. It's very rare that a buyer loses their job
Right.
before closing.
Right.
They may switch jobs. They may change jobs, change situation, et cetera. But it's very rare that we've seen, hey, the buyer just lost their job and they can no longer qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
So, we're putting our word there that, you know what, if that does happen, we're willing to step in and purchase the home.
Yeah. One thing, Joe, I just wanted to share, and I think this is something that needs to be pointed out, and this actually came up when we trained our folks on this, is a lot of people in this environment, they personally don't have the 20% themselves.
Yep.
Is it possible for someone to, get that 20% from a family member and only put 5% down? Is that an option? What needs to be
Yeah,
considered
absolutely.
there?
We can, as long as the borrower qualifies, right?
Okay,
They can
yep.
go up to a 95% loan to value.
Okay.
But the important part is that 20% earnest money deposit is made. That's what effectuates the guarantee.
Right.
Right. That 20%, the receipt of that 20% essentially effectuates the guarantee and allows us to provide that stance on the guarantee and ensuring the home's going to sell.
That's great. Well, all of you are going to be hearing a lot more about this. We're going to be obviously, creating some marketing materials around this so everybody's aware of how this works in conjunction with the other tools that we have, like Cash Plus. We still have the pre-approvals for FHA, VA, USDA, Sunny Mae. We really want to make certain that any buyer, whether they have 20% or 3% to put down, has the benefit of at least getting pre-approved.
Absolutely. And there will be more details on our website, grbbank.com/guarantee. So if people want to check it out, we will have those details up there. It is it's another tool for our buyers and our referral partners to be able to utilize and work with our loan officers on putting themselves in the best position to win in those offers,
Yeah.
because we are seeing some effectiveness with it already. And
Yeah.
I know it's early, but
That's great. Well, Joe, I want to thank you. I know you took the lead on this. Appreciate you getting it done. I know it took a lot of work to get done, but I know that it's going to be a real big win for us. And again, before we wrap up, just want to make sure that all of you guys know that, listen, if there's other topics that you'd like us to talk about and speak to, or other guests that you think that we should invite, please let us know. And with that being said, hope everyone has a safe and happy 4th of July.
yeah,
And
don't
we'll
forget to like and subscribe.
Don't let exactly. And we'll see everybody in August.
All right.